Hi, it's Kim here from the TSS, just giving you a update on where we're at with development with the new version 2.0. In last week's email, I spoke about creating a timeline, so rather than having to move only in one direction with the replay, you can now move backwards and forwards. So I just want to demonstrate that for you today. If I press play on this one here. So here's the new timeline, which you can see down here. Previously, if you just hit play, the race would run forwards, and all you could do was slow it down, for example, change the camera angle. I might pause it, change the camera angle. At the moment, this is point of view. I've actually added some new features here. So with the point of view camera now, you can actually just move around, like looking over your shoulder, for example. Look at your opponent. There's also the look down view, and I've just got one more camera angle I've added at the moment, which is the look at view from the side of the track. But the interesting thing here is not so much the cameras, but the fact that you can now move backwards and forwards within a run. For example, use this timeline scrubber here to move backwards and forwards. So this is going to be great for people who want to concentrate on the finish line. So you can also step through. So this is set to, I think it's 1/10 of a second at the moment, but I'll make that configurable so you'll be able to change the steps that it will go through. Let's just put ourselves into this view again, which is the point of view of the driver. And then we can step through the race like this, and we can watch the finish line coming up. If we want to keep watching it over and over again, we can just slide back a bit like that. And then we can change the speed, say to 16th, and press play. And then we can watch it. And we can step forward and press play, forward, play. So you get the idea here is that you can obviously just move backwards and forwards within a run, all the way back to the start, all the way back to the finish, and just concentrate on those parts of the race that you want to pay most attention to. So this week I'm working on adding sound, so putting the sound back into the TSS, so you'll be able to hear the engine sounds as per usual. They actually do start and stop at the right times, which is great. What else will I be working on? Getting the Christmas tree lights to work, because obviously it's like a movie, so I have to time it right so that the lights come on correctly and they stay on and they switch off at the right times based on where we are in the timeline. So there's a wait time at the beginning here, like half a second. Then obviously we've got to wait for the tree to count down, then the first car goes, and then the second car goes. What else are we working at? These are all just temporary assets as well. So these are the old assets that were brought in from the old version of the Time Slip Simulator. I'm going to be working with some 3D artists to get some upgraded, more detailed models done as well. And I'll be looking at doing additional models. So roadsters, altereds, different types of sedans, that type of thing. I might put that out there and see what people want. The idea is actually to release an early version of this sort of functionality so that you can have a play around with it, and then just provide me with some feedback on what you think. You know, is the interface working? Are the buttons working? What sort of cars do you want? What sort of camera angles do you want? All those sorts of things. The other thing I've been working on is the time slip entry screen, which then obviously feeds into this screen. You enter your time slip details and then you jump to this screen to replay it. So I'll just show you what that looks like at the moment. So here's an example of the new time slip entry screen. I can see it's considerably different than the old screen. It has some additional features. For example, the idea now is that you can have a logbook and you'll be able to create tracks and events and brackets. At the moment I've just got test ones in there. You can change your race type as usual, distance, addition of 330 foot racing for junior dragsters, full tree, pro tree, that's all the same. You can add some notes. Probably going to add some more fields here for things that you can include, maybe weather data. I'm not sure whether that will be relevant or not at this time. Throttle stop settings, we'll talk more about that later, but there's a way of being able to do that soon as well. Here is the entry screen. A big difference also is that this screen now acts more like a typical sort of user interface where you can type numbers in any position, whereas before you had to sort of clear out the entire number and then you had to re-enter it. Now it just works like, you know, a typical text editor. You can just enter a number anywhere you like. So I can just backspace and enter 2 here, for example. So that's going to make it a lot easier for people. I'm not sold yet on this interface. I'm going to talk to some UI people about maybe changing the design, the colors, look and feel, the buttons, all that sort of stuff. So that's still very much in development. So as I said, it's just working on it as I can, and then I will just get some people's your input, and then I'll get some people to help me with the designs. So I think that wraps it up. As I said, next week we'll be working on the sound, the Christmas tree, and then also hooking this screen up so that you can change all the details here, and then that changes what's happening in the actual replay screen. All right, till next week, I'll talk to you then. Bye.